Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday, and this one is going to be a hard video for me to make. I said last week that I'd talk about the Twitch hack in due time. Today's going to be that day. This is not easy for me. You probably know why based on the header of this video, but I felt like it was something I had to say. I know some of you are fighting over, John Kent Superman being like gay or whatever. I don't give a hairy ass about that. But the response to Twitch hacks and the fact that some people make a shit ton of money while most people on Twitch make almost nothing, I think was not a surprise to people who are on Twitch. But it was eye-opening for some people. When you see statistics like the top 1% of Twitch make, comparable to the bottom 99%, there's like the top 1% of Twitch apparently makes 529 million. The bottom 99% of Twitch makes 360 million. That's kind of eye-popping, but we all know that these sorts of streaming services are imbalanced, and that certainly like top 5%, that's where these services make the bulk of their money through ads and microtransactions and all that stuff, right? Like, this isn't new. What I feel has been missed, and the reason that I felt compelled to make this video, even though it may draw me a ton of shit that I'm so not in the mood for. But before I do this, help support this channel. Become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. I could really use it this month. But in all this stuff about how much money people are making, there are different types of Twitch streamers. And I don't think it's an accident that things have lost the plot from, the protest in August, the ongoing harassment on the platform. If you look at the names in, the top 10, there are a lot of people that have made money harassing other people, going after people like, that were minding their own business, who don't happen to be as perfect as the people doing the harassing. And pretty much attacking people for having opinions or using slurs or, all that stuff. The one I will say has been, I think, pretty cool overall, even though he's been involved in some drama, like Summit 1G. At least he apologized to Sweet Anita after that whole thing. Like, can we have more of that, please? I'm not going to get into XQC. His stuff is well known, and he, at least he's a gamer, former competitive Overwatch player, known for being rather offensive. Been banned off Twitch a bunch of times for basically streaming like really filthy porn. And then stream sniping, which is like not cool. I'm like, the really filthy porn thing, I know why you can't do it, but I'm not going to get too upset about it. But the stream sniping and the, abusive policy, he threw a competitive game that's his business, right? But and of course, I'm circling around to my buddy, Hasan Piker. Why do I call Hasan Piker my buddy? Well, because he personally harassed me through Twitch and got away with it and went on to make millions. So when you add up all the different, bad acts in the top 10, Hasan Piker alone just probably accounts for 90% of that. The guy doesn't do anything but attack people for shits and giggles. I'll get into the details of what happened to me, but I want to make my greater point because this is about the greater point. Twitch is making money off harassment. Period. End of story. I do not believe for a second that what Hasan Abi did to me was an isolated event. In fact, when it happened, people were like, oh, that's just him. He does this all the time. So he's making like $2 million harassing people for fun. Now, it's that slippery slope thing, right? Of, well, he's left wing, so he attacks right wing people. And that's okay because punching up, right? But there are bad tactics. You can argue people's opinions without getting deeply personal and stepping into the realm of harassment. And what he did to me was, by the Young Turks' own definition, sexual harassment. What? Hear me out, okay? There was a fight I saw on Twitter, and Jank and Anna were going at, I think it was Jimmy Dore, because of some comment Jimmy made about Anna's legs back in the day. And I mean, Anna has the right to be pissed off about that, but I'm like, okay, so the Young Turks identifies commentary on a woman's appearance when it's not relevant to be sexual harassment. Very, very interesting, because Hasan Piker called me a white feminist and a femcel over my opinions on Mortal Kombat 11. Now, he thought I was a racist, but two wrongs don't make a right. You don't invoke a woman's alleged involuntary celibacy over a video game. That is sexual harassment. He's gotten away with it. His profile has only raised since then. And I am not saying that should be the bar for accusing someone of sexual harassment. I'm saying that that is the bar that Uncle Jank's organization set. You play by your own rules or you don't play at all. Makes sense? But we can assume because of this that Mr. Hasan doesn't have a problem with psychological blood money, that he is totally fine just making people miserable who are minding their own business. Because let me tell you what happened, okay? I made a video after Mortal Kombat 11 came out about the Jax ending. And I basically made the same argument that Disney Plus used when they introduced Immortus at the end of the Disney Plus Loki show. That you do not make the world better. You do not make the world safer. You do not increase freedom by totally restricting people's free will through the control of time. That is the move of a villain. That is exactly what Immortus / Kang / He Who Remains says is, we're all villains here, right? He is self-identifying as a villain because he is controlling the timeline for his own purposes. He has his reasons. But the show indicates it is an evil act, which is exactly what I said about the Jax ending. And I invoked the fact, and this is what people got pissed off at me about, and I understand the sensitivity. However, I stand by the fact that you can't just change massive parts of history and then keep your wife and kid and have that be a moral act. You know, the point I made is, that people didn't understand. Maybe I said it badly, but you can't separate American history and American culture and modern day America from slavery. So much of the fabric of America comes from the civic and cultural output, cultural contributions of descendants of slaves. So how can a Black American get rid of that instigating event and not disappear and keep his wife and keep his kid? How he went back and kept changing time over and over and over and over and over and over until he got the outcome he wanted. And anybody who did something he didn't like, he did what Immortus did. He just pruned them from the timeline. He reset time so that never happened. That's the ultimate form of fascism. That was my point. Reasonable after Disney made it, right? At the time, it was considered a pretty spicy take. Well, I was like, whatever, people are going to get upset. But then I got a DM from someone who actually happened to be Black. And she said, Hasan's totally trashing you. I'm like, she says, for the record, I don't think you did anything wrong. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who's Hasan? That was the first time I'd heard the name Hasan Piker, when he went after me and called me a femcel over a video game. Now, not only did he do those spicy takes, he sped up the video to 1.25 speed, which ups the pitch of your voice and makes you sound more manic. So, it was just a mockery session. And I had people who didn't know me from anyone tracking me down on Facebook to tell me I was racist over Facebook Messenger. And it was, I feel you are a racist. Why do you think I am a racist? Because I feel that you are. That was the argument. These weren't people that watched my content. These are people that watched Hasan Abi's $2 million golden goose through harassment. It was totally recontextualized, totally taken out of context. It was mob rule. It was, it was considered okay to go after this white feminist who is racist and a femcel and all the dehumanizing language, right? With the progressive stack. I don't like using that term, but hey, he invokes it when you start going, oh, so non-white feminist better than non-white feminist better than white feminist. And oh, femcel just... Okay, Hasan, you don't think I'm hot. I get it. You don't think I'm fuckable. Like I've never heard that from some asshole before. Like, really? But when you consider that, there was this thing that I'll give Kotaku the point on this one, that, this idea that all the Twitch booby streamers are sucking up all the money. I guess not. Now, I don't think that was actually the argument. That wasn't the argument I heard. But I'll give them points for a turn of phrase. What I heard is that it just, men can't make money in that way. Not that I agree. I have been very clear. I have no problem with sexy Twitch streamers. I think it's great. Ladies, keep going. I don't do that. And I admit, because good old Hasan is big on going after my fuckability, I put on a little more makeup than I would have for this stream because, oh God, can't be ugly on the internet, can't be unfuckable when you're having opinions. But, the Young Turks has a zero tolerance policy for sexual harassment. Right. And I've actually had people ask me to provide proof when they've heard of this. He did it on Twitch. Thousands of people saw it. Even more people saw him go after me on Twitter before he blocked me, unblocked me, blocked me again. I don't know if he's unblocked me again. But the guy played fucking dirty. He used a superior audience and framing and dirty words and dehumanizing language to create harassment against me. And the reason I don't want to focus too much on the sexual element of it is because if it's not okay to do to a woman, it's not okay to do to a man. And I know damn well I'm not the only person this guy has gone after. I only say what he did, first of all, to provide detail, also because it was like, holy shit, it was Milo Yiannopoulos all over again. But at least Milo was like, hey, you get your tits out for a living. That's more flattering than what Buddy Hasan did. And Milo, didn't go on to make millions and millions and his star continuing to rise. Now, if Milo had just been producible, he would have. I am under no illusions about that. But Milo's his own worst enemy, and I actually feel kind of bad for the guy. But this Hasan guy is a shining example of the power imbalance that money and access to good publicists have. Because let's face it, if this guy wasn't Cenk Uyghur's nephew, we wouldn't know his name. It's the TYT PR machine And the people they hire to get him onto red carpets and get him into influencer things and build his profile so that Buddy can sit there for hours and hours and hours a week just watching other people's streams and mocking them based on their gender, race, and perceived attractiveness, right? Or perceived ability to get laid. I will be clear, it's not about attractiveness, it's perceived ability to get laid. You know, when you call somebody a female involuntary celibate, it's, oh, they want it, but they can't get it. What a loser, right? That's just wrong. And he made money doing that. And every time he does that to somebody else, he makes money doing that. And the reason I separate people like Summit 1G or XQC, you know, XQC's gotten into trouble, but at least he's a legit good gamer. And I was happy to see Critical Role at the top of the list because they actually put on a show. Like, they actually put on performances, and good for them. The money split a bunch of different ways, but they're good voice actors making money by creating entertainment that isn't hurting anybody. Good for them. Can we please have more of that, right? And hey, it's tabletop gaming focused. It's still gaming. It's not some guy who's connected to some left-wing, you know, YouTube channel going, I'm going to play a few video games, but it's really just about me sitting in front of a camera, gabbing at people and harassing people minding their own business who dare to have opinions. That's not discourse. That's not fighting the good fight. There is nothing about what he did that is punching up. He had a larger audience than me. The shots he took were cheap. And even if he thought I was an absolutely flagrant racist, he does not have the right to invoke my sexuality or perceived lack thereof to demean me. And a lot of people, they tried to justify the comment, oh, incel's just an insult. You know, it's for these guys who, you know, just hate everything and they're miserable and they harass people. But he called me a femcel. And what does the word mean? Oh, they just didn't want to, they just didn't want to admit that what he did was wrong. And that's what happens. This is why I have never been full bore left-wing good, right-wing bad, because I have been going through this crap from people like that my entire career. It's okay when we do it. It's funny because it used to be get the little slut when I was on TV. Oh, she shows off her body, whore. That's fine. Get her, dehumanize her. Now it's, I'm not, you know, I don't think I was ever in Hasan Abi's league. I know that he likes a certain thing and I ain't it. I get that. Cool. But, you know, there were some people who found me pretty attractive back in the day. And that was a bad thing. And now that I'm not attractive enough for these standards, now that's a bad thing. And you wonder why there aren't more women as top earners on Twitch. You wonder why there aren't, you know, there isn't a greater spread of earnings on Twitch. It's because you get decimated for daring to do anything that gets you the slightest bit of attention. Now, to be clear, the video I made was on YouTube. It wasn't even on Twitch, but it's out there. It's fair game, but fight fair. And, you know, in the backdrop of people complaining about really awful homophobia, transphobia, racism, like just nasty, nasty shit on Twitch, and Twitch's seeming unwillingness or inability to stop it, I think it's very important to connect these two stories and not lose the plot because, Hasan Piker, big leftist, oh, he makes all this money. That's not a contradiction. That's the wrong argument. You know, it was easy for him to refute, to say, oh, I believe the rich should pay taxes. I pay taxes, which is what every fucking rich asshole says, right? The truth is that taxing the rich only pays for a small portion of the things that the U.S. system has to actually improve upon. Some people may think it's a good start and they like the principle of the thing, but it isn't going to solve the problem. There needs to be serious systemic systemic change to actually address this sort of inequality. But that's a topic for another time. The point is the plot got lost. The point is not just that, Hasan Abi made $2 million plus on Twitch. The point is he's not, even a sort of dirty player like XQC. He was a player. He played video games. Yes, people watch his streams because anything can happen, because he does some outlandish stuff. But dude can still play. Summit 1G can play. He was Counter-Strike, right? I know he's played a bunch of games, but dudes can play. Critical Role, they're acting out Dungeons and Dragons, they're acting out tabletop games. That's a skill. Hasan doesn't do anything but grief people and harass people and pick on people who just dare to have opinions he disagrees with. And he rides that, he started off by riding Uncle Jenk's bank account, which is how he could afford the publicists and, all the stuff he got. Because you need to pay that money to raise your profile, right? Nobody knew who he was, and he was showing up on red carpets and stuff like that. And he claims, he puts in all these hours, and all these streamers put in all these hours. That doesn't make it okay that you harass people. It doesn't make it okay that you make money harassing people. And if number of hours worked equated to amount of pay you earn, nurses in COVID wards right now should be multimillionaires, okay, if not billionaires. Those people are burned out and it's not getting any better. So, kind of funny that Mr. Big left-wing nepotism hire tries to make a capitalist argument for the money he's made when it's a bad one. Do I terribly care he made $2 million? Not really. I'm glad it wasn't more, because I would like people on Twitch to the nice thing is that a lot of the people in the top 10 are still at least somewhat gamers. Hasan's less good a player than I am, okay? People don't tune in to watch him play games. People tune in to watch him do exactly what he did to me, which is just dehumanize me over things. Yes, it was over a video game, but they tune in to have him beat up on people they think are on the other side. And the truth is, first of all, I wasn't on the other side. I'm not some crazy right-winger. Then again, the left likes to eats its own. But that other side is still people. Now, I don't call people incels, because I was told by people who watch this channel that it bothers them as somebody who doesn't feel terribly desirable or attractive to women. It hurts them when they hear it, even though it's not directed at them. And I listened and I showed kindness. So no matter how rotten someone on the right behaves, and again, yay, Comicsgate is back. Wahoo! John Kent's gay, pink hair. Who the fuck cares? Seriously, who the fuck cares? I don't care. But am I going to start calling people who do care a bunch of nasty names that attack their sexuality or perceived lack thereof, or their race, or, no, I'm not. I'm going to focus on their ideas and the fact that I do not care. I don't care. I am so burned out on this crap, because I'm not going to do to other people what was done to me by Hasan. Yeah, I disagreed with Lindsay Ellis vehemently, but I expressed compassion and concern for her as a human being. And I also said that the stuff she did as comedy routine, she had no need to apologize for. Yes, I was critical on her, very critical on her on other points, but I didn't dehumanize her. I saw her humanity, even though I disagreed with her and thought some of the stuff that she had said and done warranted a check. But I was able to see her as a human. And I did then and do now hope she's doing okay. I hope she's doing better than she was when she made that video. and I see that in some of these other streamers. Summit 1G was that Sweet Anita thing got really, really ugly and was super unfortunate, because I give anyone credit for putting themselves out there, period. But when someone has a condition like Tourette's syndrome, good for you, girl. Like, if and unfortunately her Tourette's, the tick is racial slurs. She can't help it. It's not, but he apologized. Did he, Summit 1G, expressed concern for her as a human. That should be the bare minimum when you're making millions off a service. And the Young Turks goes on about power imbalances and getting money out of things and all that stuff. But if you're making money picking on people who aren't huge names, he didn't know who the hell I was. I know that. He wasn't picking on me because I was some big name in, politics, or I'm Canadian, I'm not even doing US politics, right? He picked on me because he could. Because he saw a way to kick at somebody and hurt somebody for the amusement of his audience. That's why he did it. That's how he makes his money. And that is wrong. That is the greater problem on Twitch. And yes, you guys know I'm like, information from hacks, everything like that. I understand the anger of the people that pulled this data. I don't agree with their tactics necessarily, but I get where they're coming from. And that may be an unpopular view. It's not a hill I'm willing to die on. Reasonable people can disagree, right? But I do think we're losing the plot again in all this talk about how much money people make, and not looking at how some of these people have earned that money, and how that loops back into perhaps Twitch's lax harassment policy is a feature, not a bug. Because if they actually enforced any sort of harassment policy, they'd have to crack down on some of their top earners. And that would cost them money. And that, every time one of these services gets big enough, the rot starts to set in. Because they are for profit. They often lose their sense of the fact that you need to offer a fair product and a decent customer environment, a decent consumer environment on top of just making money. That's capitalism, as opposed to feudalism where you live on my land, pay up, right? Which is more like what these online services are, and then the fact that, Alphabet and Amazon are gobbling up more, and Facebook are gobbling up more and more and more than anything. We're entering an age of corporate feudalism. We're all fucking sharecroppers on some major corporations' online land. That's cause for concern, because that is not capitalism. That's an ABBA song cue. That's the winner takes it all, and this is about money and its connection to power, and what the powerful do with that power, and how we put checks and balances on people. And when someone acts like a bully, and I'm well prepared that he could come after me again because of this video, but, I already had my panic attack over the idea of that. That is not for sympathy. That is just, if I look a bit rough, that's why. But I think this needs to be said. I think that there is a problem on this service, and it's not how much money people make. It's that Twitch has made money off of harassment. They have monetized harassment, and there is no way around that. And that should be the takeaway from the Twitch hack. So I needed a bit of time to collect my thoughts on this for obvious reasons, but Please help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK. I don't make no $2 million. Check my earnings. Thanks for watching.